And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We know the pandemic is not quite over, but it is still impacting a lot of people's livelihoods in different ways. I got a chance to catch up with the United Way to see if 2021 was any better than the struggle that was 2020 and what the future looks like next year. And joining us here tonight on The Factor Uncensored is Amanda McMillan, President and CEO of United Way of Greater Houston. Amanda, we know it's been a tough few years in the pandemic with the whole world. And obviously, charitable giving has taken a hit. How has this affected you guys in 2021?
Isaiah, it's been an interesting year and a challenging one, as you noted, for sure. In 2020, I think there was organization saw a huge hit. Interestingly, nationally and locally, it's not all bad news. Mm-hmm. Overall giving was actually up a little bit, particularly locally. Individual givers, foundations, they stepped up to help Greater Houston like they always do. One thing we saw, in addition to the COVID-19 Greater Houston Recovery Fund that we worked on with the Greater Houston Community Foundation in 2020 into 2021, in the aftermath of the winter storm in February, we were concerned about donor fatigue. We weren't sure what we might be able to do to raise funds to help families who needed help after that storm. And here we go again, raise $17 million to help people with home repairs and other emergency financial assistance. So,
wow. And is that in part because of the Houston economy, the Texas economy, which has been better than most of the country?
Isaiah, it's been volatile. We know from Greater Houston Partnership that we lost about 361,000 jobs during the pandemic. We've recovered about 75% of those, but it is a little volatile depending on what sector you look at. If you're in energy or construction, still some volatility, still struggling a little bit. Looking at a little bit over, 75,000 jobs estimated growth next year. Mm-hmm. So a decent, hopefully, year in terms of job growth, but some sectors are still struggling a little bit, and we do see that coming through a little bit to some extent in corporate giving and some things like that.
And what do you see most of your donations come from, corporate or individuals?
Well, at United Way, we have a variety of revenue sources, but our big heart of our model is mobilizing resources from workplace campaigns all over Greater Houston. So you have thousands and thousands of amazing individual employee contributors, as well as corporations often matching those contributions or doing those own gifts. So we see a lot of both. We also get terrific foundation support as well.
And when it comes to what you guys do at United Way, for those viewers who are not familiar, how you help out in the community, tell us some of the things that you do.
Sure. Well, our focus right now is really on helping families achieve greater financial stability over time. So that includes everything from upskilling to job certification program, making sure they have access to safe lending products. Just as you were talking about the other day, you have a lot of people who have student loans coming due in February and are not in a place to pay them. So making sure people have access to safe products and services, are able to build their savings over time so they can make it through a disaster. We also work hard to support healthcare, as well as access to youth development services and early childhood education. And a huge part of what we do is this safety net, making sure people have access to basic needs like food, utilities assistance, rental assistance, or escape from violence. And we provide a lot of that help through our 211 Texas United Way helpline.
Now, as we approach the end of the year, we're looking at 2022. What's the forecast looking like for United Way and other charitable organizations around this country and right here in the city of Houston?
Some people's perspective may have changed a little bit even over the last couple of weeks with the Omicron variant hitting our community hard and fast. So I think there's a little bit of uncertainty there. I do think heading into 2022, though, there are so many nonprofit organizations that rely on events for fundraising. Mm-hmm. I think that coming back this fall has helped some. I think that will come back more next year and help a lot of organizations improve their revenue picture. And we do think job recovery will help some as well. So I think still a challenging picture. There is still some job recovery we have to do in the market. And what we're seeing in terms of overall giving trends as well is for some organizations, there may be fewer individual givers, but those individual givers are digging deeper and giving more individually. So I know that's been a huge help for organizations to date, and I think we're all hoping that'll continue into 2022.
Excellent. Amanda McMillan with United Way CEO here in Houston. We thank you for your time tonight here on The Factor Uncensored.
Thanks so much for having me, Isaiah. Appreciate it.
Ahead here on The Factor Uncensored, if you're staying home tomorrow indoors, we have a look at what you can catch right here on Fox 26. Stay with us here on The Factor.